Hello, everyone, and welcome to the debut episode of Industry Perspective, where I analyze the largest stories and topics from around the gaming industry and cut through all the noise to bring you nothing but the facts. Now, over the last several years, technology has changed rapidly throughout the gaming industry. Digital game purchasing has surpassed physical, the connected console has become a reality, and cloud-based gaming is nearly upon us. With the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlett arriving next year, the obvious question has been posed: could they be the final traditional consoles we see from Sony and Microsoft? I analyze the possibilities on this episode of Industry Perspective. It's hard to believe, but it's been nearly 6 years since the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 launched. In that time, they have evolved greatly, likely more than any generation prior. There's a few reasons for that, but most prevalent is the fact that technology is advancing at a far more rapid pace than it was even just a decade ago. Now, it's for this reason that we can foresee a future without the need of a traditional box sitting under the TV to play your games. Likely the largest factor influencing the discussion has been Google entering the gaming industry with Stadia. Stadia launches this November, and according to Google, it'll introduce the first AAA gaming experience without the need of a traditional console or PC. By utilizing their global infrastructure, Google is introducing a model whereby players will simply connect to the nearest server using their existing internet connection, where control inputs and game data will be streamed to the player. Now, Google ran an early test of this service late last year, and generally speaking, it was successful. Of course, launching in 14 countries with widely varying connection consistencies will prove to be another challenge, though. So I know we'll all be watching to see how it performs, but again, the mere fact that this is happening at all is a sign of just how far the industry has come. Likely the only company with deeper resources than Google in this arena is Microsoft, who are taking a more fully featured approach with Project xCloud. xCloud allows players to connect to the live infrastructure using either their home console or a regional Azure server, whichever provides lower latency to your location. And because you log in with your Xbox Live profile, it means that all of your associated games and data are accessible. Now, traditionally, streaming game data reliably has been near impossible. But with advancements in data transfer optimization, significant improvements have been made. Having demoed xCloud myself, it not only works, but it works well and requires a surprisingly modest internet connection. For perspective, Bill Stillwell from the Xbox xCloud development team informed me that a 10 megabit per second connection will work just fine in today's environment, and that anything over 15 to 20 megabits per second will be more than enough. Now, to be able to offer those capabilities to consumers, it requires infrastructure that only a handful of companies have today. Most notably Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Which brings us to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlett. By the time the Xbox Scarlett launches next year, xCloud will be rolled out to consumers and will simply be another feature set offered to players in the Xbox ecosystem. Sony, meanwhile, doesn't have the infrastructure nor the resources to compete in this specific arena in the global market. And so they signed a deal with Microsoft earlier this year to partner on a cloud gaming initiative. Now, the details have been sparse, but what this signifies is that Sony is seeing the future as Microsoft and Google are, and knows that they have to make a move. That means it's likely that within a few years' time, we'll all have the capability to play our PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlett games nearly anywhere and at any time, which I think we can all agree will be incredible. But even with the capability being offered, does it mean that the companies will move away from offering traditional boxes in the generations after that? I don't believe so. When you look at the global market for gaming consoles, there are a few factors that will lead to traditional consoles being manufactured for many years to come. First and foremost, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and we'll include the Switch here as well, will easily surpass a combined 200 million units sold by the end of their lifetimes. While a majority of those are sold in North America, Europe, and Japan, they are sold in nearly 50 countries worldwide, many of which do not have the same internet and regional connectivity options to the hub data centers I referenced earlier. Players in these more remote regions will continue to be best served by having a traditional console at home and connected locally for the foreseeable future. Naturally, these restrictions would also impact those deployed in the military or those traveling to remote regions as well, which as we've seen has really become a boon for the Switch. The other major consideration comes about due to the advancement of technology I mentioned earlier. As CPUs and GPUs advance, hardware and software development companies repeatedly push the boundaries of what's possible for gaming. This frequently leads to higher resolutions, frame rates, and corresponding data requirements. So with the presumed target for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlett being 4K, 60 frames per second, and potentially even higher at times, the bandwidth requirements to run at max fidelity become increasingly prohibitive for the majority of the global population, particularly when you also factor in data caps. As an example, there was an estimate done on Stadia showing that a player could consume 1 terabyte of data in 65 hours of gaming. So with many gamers playing more than that on a monthly basis, it's simply not feasible and likely won't be for the foreseeable future. And of course, we know 4K 60 or even 4K 144 won't be the end. 8K TVs are already being manufactured, so the advancement will continue as it always has. It's difficult to predict really where the curve of bandwidth and optimization of data transfer will surpass the need of max game fidelity, but I can confidently say we're a long ways off from it occurring. And the heads of these organizations have said as much. Phil Spencer, when speaking on the future of streaming and xCloud's place in the market, had the following to say. I've been building consoles for 15 years. We're not getting out of the console business. We spoke about it in our xCloud videos. We love our consoles, we love that business, and we're super proud to have the most powerful console out on the marketplace today, and that leadership position we hope to retain going forward. And I also believe your best premium experience is going to be a dedicated hardware running under your TV in your living room. It's an and conversation, not an or conversation. Everyone loves to jump to the death of consoles, and I think it makes a great headline, but we don't think that way at all. So with that in mind, if you're someone like me who enjoys playing my console games at the highest possible settings on a large, high-end TV, having a local box with the game installed on your hard drive is still going to be the best overall experience for many years to come, just as Spencer said. While we can't predict what the market will look like when the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlett end their runs, I think it's fair to presume that we'll see at least one more generation of PlayStation Xbox consoles after that point. The industry and its associated technologies are advancing and evolving rapidly, yes, but there are simply too many factors globally that prevent a wholesale change in the console market in the near term. So if you're like me, you like getting that new console, coming home with it, unboxing it, setting it up for the first time, fear not. I think we're safe for now. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Industry Perspective.